Why can't I just do one video and just be normal and talk like a normal person? Well, you know what? Because I'm not normal, and I'm so glad. Because you know what I think about most people? They're a bunch of deadheads, no thinking, no caring, no compassion, no nothing. Caring, C-A-R-I-N-G, that was, not Karen, K-A-R-E-N. Hey, so, but, I mean, nobody wants politics. We're not allowed to talk politics. You mean you wasted my whole life in school teaching me to do my best, just to try to make A's, learn all this stuff for nothing, to grow up and stop thinking. You think too much. Stop thinking. Don't talk politics. Don't talk religion. We live in the richest country in the world. We are so privileged that we just want to be dumb and let them steal it all away. Let's throw all of our education away. Every bit of education we had, let's not apply it. Okay, so we got all these valedictorians. I'm not one of those, by the way. If you don't know what that is, it's okay to have a low IQ, all right? You know what? I have a medium IQ, I think. I haven't taken a test, but I say I have a medium IQ, a poor memory, but I am Mr. Think a Lot. I do think a lot, and I don't stop thinking. And I've had people that tell me I think too much, and I don't know anything. I've had them say that. It's pretty contradictory, isn't it? So, you know what? I can't just be normal, because I'm not letting them waste all those years I spent in high school studying, working hard to study all day, practice trumpet, playing sports, studying in class, not talking to people in class, getting my studying done so I could go home and practice trumpet and do my exercise so I could be the best I could be in sports, and spreading myself thin and working so hard at it. I'm not super talented, but I'm working so hard at it, I didn't realize that if I would have just stuck with one sport, put all my time in that and took it easy, actually not worked so hard, but just put my time into it, there was one or two sports I could, maybe more than one, but I would have had to choose one, and I could have excelled at it. But there's proof, there's evidence that I could have excelled at one sport, track and field. Pretty much excelled. I won't say Olympics, but I could have done pretty well, a lot better, if I would have just not done all this extracurricular stuff and just focused on that and actually take it easy and do a few jogging long distance days and put the trumpet down and just study the books. I could have succeeded. But the point is, I put all the work in for free. I didn't get paid to study. I didn't get paid to go to school 8 hours a day, or to play sports, or to exercise, or to play trumpet, and then to perform on stage for people and all that stuff. I didn't get paid. I was just a student learning. All right? And so you're asking me to be quiet and not talk politics and not put in 2 cents to the country when I'm hearing the Democrat Party that nobody knows. Almost nobody knows today still. Because they own media. Nobody knows they were the Confederate Party, the party of slavery. Nobody knows they've lied all these years. They're lying. They lie every day. You see how many people watch my Facebook page and my YouTube pages? All these social sites don't want anybody to hear my stuff because I tell the truth. Now they can use an excuse and say, well, he doesn't make a good delivery. He doesn't make it look professional. He uses nicknames, and we want to know his straight name. Democrats, especially any Democrat that doesn't agree with me, can complain because they're like, we want to know his last name, real name, all this stuff. And that's not hidden all the way, but I like my nicknames. And I like nicknames for different reasons because they explain my stuff. There's other reasons I've used nicknames, but I've fallen in love with nicknames overall over time, so I'm not going to worry about why did I make my first nickname. But, so I'm supposed to just let all the lies ride. And I believe in God. I believe in heaven and hell. I believe in pain. For bottom line, I believe in pain. So I believe in God. Because I believe in a devil. But I trust in God. I don't trust in the devil. I believe in both God and the devil. But I trust in God and I don't trust in the devil. So believe doesn't always mean the same thing. Believe does mean trust too. But so in another context, does not mean trust. I believe he exists, the devil. I don't trust in the devil. I believe God is love. I believe the devil is a liar. He's the king of lies, the father of lies. And he's out to steal, to kill, and destroy. And I get that from the Bible. But there's plenty of evidence of that. And the people who hate Jesus, it just so happens to match that they love to steal, kill, and destroy. So there's your evidence of the devil right there. because I've run into so many Luciferians this past 5 months. Luciferians and people who say they are God, they are Jesus, stuff like that. And I've run into some. I've run into one that says he's a God like Jesus, but he's not come to die for people's sins. He's come to kill people for their sins. He's come to do the work of killing everybody for their sins. So I ran into this dude, and he's walking with me and telling me this stuff. And he sounds just like Martin Luther King Jr. He's actually mimicking Martin Luther King Jr.'s voice. And it's almost like he was waiting for me. Like he saw me coming. But, so I listened to him some. I tried to get a word in. He wouldn't much let me get a word in. And I'm not sure if, he did identify as Luciferian. And then as he's talking over me, not giving me much chance to speak, he's claiming that Elon Musk is a Satanist as well. But he wasn't. He was acting like Elon Musk is a bad person for being a Satanist. And I don't believe he's a Satanist. He claims Christ, actually. But he showed me some Halloween uniform he wore and was claiming that's just what Satan wears. And it looked more like, to me, a space type uniform. But anyway, he's declaring that Elon Musk is a Satanist like it's a bad thing after he just finished telling me he's a Luciferian, which is a Satanist. But so I've met other persons that tell me they're Satanists, and actually Satanism, it's not so bad. It's not a big deal. It's a religion, and he's trying to tell me it's not so bad, and he's hating on Christianity. And this is a guy that buys into Scientology, but he's telling me he believes in that Satanism, all it's doing is saying, do what you want. It's not saying to kill people and hurt people and all that. It's just saying, do what you want to do. Quit worrying about stuff. If you want to, he's talking about sex, everything else, right? All the pleasurable things. Just enjoy all your pleasures. But, obviously I don't believe in that and all that, but they wouldn't let me get a word in. He's trying to, obviously he's trying to recruit a lot of people that don't know theology, but the way they take control and won't let you speak and all that, and they make it sound so, they try to make the Bible sound like a fairy tale that you almost don't have a comeback, because every thing you tell them that's true, they completely act like it's null and void. And I'm like, okay, I've given them this evidence, and they ignore it, or they get mad about it. And the same person that hated me for just saying, well, I still believe in Jesus, because guess what? We all die, and he rose from the dead, and nobody else died. It's really dumb to believe in a God, any God that has not risen from the dead. That's what I say. So, anyhow, I guess I didn't want this to be that long. I'm surprised it's already 8 minutes. It's unbelievable. But yeah, I don't believe in wasting my breath. And you know what? I would do some normal videos, but I'm a pretty private person. I prefer to be so I have more, because people have opinions or whatever else. And I do like talking ethics and truth, because I've gotten into seeing how many lies there are, and I've seen what's important and not important in life, and I keep learning that, and I'm like, man, I sure thought that was important, and I found out that's not as important as whatever else. But I do know I've run into millions of lies when I started studying politics, and it's obvious. And when I tell the truth, it's obvious. And it is funny, not funny, but look at how many views I get on Facebook. So look, at the Democrats are still, they got enough media power and enough Republicans not thinking it's important to talk politics. They fell for the Democrats stuff. It's almost like they support the Democrats' view of don't talk religion and politics, it'll offend people. So they're getting by still with lying, because nobody's out there contesting their lies. I am. A few people on Facebook are. A few people on some social networks are contesting all the lies. And they're doing a good job at it. I thought I had the best pages in the world. And I'm like, man, I'm getting no views, because the Democrats are threatening these social sites, and they're going to put sanctions on them and all this. They're actually going out busy to stop the freedom of speech like a dictator. And now they're trying to falsify that Trump's like a dictator, that President Trump's like a dictator and all this kind of stuff. They're lying about that. They're lying to connect him with Epstein, all this stuff. And they're the ones, Epstein, they've caught him with 36 teenagers back in 2005, and the man's dead. All right, and he's the guilty one, first of all. So People didn't know what the man's doing. I get most of them. I could tell you. Second of all, there's not so many pedophiles in the world. You know, most people, if they're a pedophile or like doing work trying to seduce young people, even if they're teenagers, into drugs and all that kind of stuff, that's for power. Those are bullies. Those are thieves and bullies usually. They like picking on them because they're easy to persuade, because they're naive a lot of times, and so it's not that they're attracted. So a pedophile might be attracted to somebody that's not developed yet, but most people I don't think are attracted to people who are not developed sexually. All right, I don't see how people could be attracted to that, first of all. The second of all, most people, I think, even people that don't believe in God, but by the way, guess who's most prone to not care about people and young people either? People who don't believe in love your neighbor, that don't believe there's a God. Okay, if they don't care about adults, how are they going to care about kids? And if you don't care about kids, how do you care about adults? If you don't care about God, how do you care about either one? All right, the real God, the one that believes in forgiveness. If you don't believe in forgiveness, how do you care about any of them? And the Democrats don't believe in forgiveness. They believe in it if it's convenient for them to get money and stuff. That they don't believe in it from a spiritual standpoint and a real standpoint. They believe in it to play games and play hypocrite. So they forgive people who, you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. They forgive that. They forgive for that, and as a gesture, a fake gesture, a hypocritical gesture. So forgiveness isn't easy. It hurts sometimes, but you choose to forgive. Doesn't mean pardon. It means forgiving your heart. Be able to talk to them. Let them see if you can't quit your temper or something. It allows, so forgiveness tells you to step back and let them get the proper messages. Let them get messages from God. Give them biblical messages. And have a chance to repent and change their ways and all those kind of things. It's like if it's a murderer, you should want them to be detained. Maybe get the death penalty and not be pardoned. Sometimes pardon them, depending on the situation. But whether they should have mercy or not, I don't think they should have mercy if they're still in jail trying to kill people and trying to mess up the prisons for reconciliation, for what do you call it? Rehab, I guess. Rehabilitation. The prisons should be a safe place to be for rehabilitation. They're already punished enough being locked down. So I don't mean to get into all that, but there's so much to say. Eventually I'll slow down and realize, okay, just say one thing at a time. Teach people one thing at a time. Because you're not making much sense when you throw it all together either. But I remember one thing at a time. And anyway, I'll catch up. So I've gotten so far behind on this stuff, it's hard for me not to go and try to show everything. I'm finding a hole. I don't know what kind of animal hole that is. But anyhow, I'm going to close this off and just say, why can't I just be normal? First of all, what's normal? I don't really care that people don't think I'm normal. I know I'm not normal because I've been through. I'm one of those people that I should be dead more than once. I should have died, and people can't believe I'm alive. I've survived more than most people have, as far as I mean, there's a lot of people that survived harder things than me, but I've probably survived more hard things than most. So I mean, I've been hit by a truck. I've been jumped by 5 people 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, I forget. But I've been, what else? Threatened more than anything, stuff like, so threatened, made peace. I've had definitely more times been threatened, for instance, up close over money or something else. And, or just because somebody was prejudiced against me, whether it was for being a Christian, being white, or so it wasn't, it's white people who are prejudiced against me for being Christian. Sometimes it's Islam, black Muslims usually. The Arab Muslims, usually I've not had conversations with them, but I've run into them across them doing business, and they do okay business, right? At stores and things, right? So I haven't been threatened by them very much. Maybe a couple once. One guy that starts yelling Allah Akbar beside me, and a black fella comes and tells me to get away, step away from him. He pulled me away. He knew the guy was up to something. I hadn't thought much about it at the time, but he pulled me away. So I don't know if he's black American or what. He could have been black illegal immigrant, but he pulled me away from the guy yelling Allah Akbar beside me. But that was an Arab-looking kind of guy. And anyhow, I guess I'm going to close this out. I wanted to say more about that stuff or tie it in or whatever. But why did I bring those stories up? But yeah, I've been through a lot, so I'm not normal. That was the point. I'm not normal. But I've survived most of those things because I made peace. There's a few times I got jumped and I feel like I could have beat 4 people. I'm a pretty strong guy. I know that from sports. I mean, there's a lot of people, you know what? I just realized it even more so today. Look, I might have been one of the fastest runners. I might have won every football game I ever played, pretty much. And I didn't play a lot, right, in that backyard and all that. But pretty much most of the time I won. If I was playing on a team, that team would win. Except against 2. You know what? Except when I was playing with a young fella once, 2-on-2 against 2 people my age. And I was college age. So, I would sometimes win or almost win. But they were in better shape than me. I had an excuse. I was out of shape. They were in shape. Or one of them was really in good shape. The quarterback didn't have to be in great shape. So, but they beat me a few times. So I'll just say, and so the person, one of the people I'm talking about, I'm maybe a hair faster than him or about the same speed, really close, really. But when I was out of shape, he's faster than me. And so if I cut a ball, that's one person, and he could tackle me before I got my footing. And then, anyhow, but the point is, as many times as I run into, like, say, there's this school, that school, this school, that school, this school, that school, this school, that school. If I'm competing against different schools, how many schools are there? 1,000 schools, and there's 3 people that can run faster than me at each school. That turns into 3,000 people who are faster than me. So I think I'm faster than most people, but there's still 3,000 people from that small group of schools that are faster than me. So I think, so it's not like, I can go out there and act like I'm Superman, So I'm good at push-ups and all that stuff. But what's the point? The point is, so I didn't fight people. Not because I did want to prove how strong I was, because they treated me like I'm a wimp. They always looked at me like I'm a wimp because I'm always nice, and they took my kindness for weakness or whatever. But I was trying to make peace with people. I like to communicate, trying to have conversation, because I believe in being friendly because I believe in God, right? So, but I have temptations, sometimes I'm in these social circles and hoping I can meet a lady that is a soulmate or something. But I didn't know how to figure that out, frankly. So, especially when you got competition and they don't. So there's all those kind of things. But, so I'm not normal. So I survived more things than a lot of people, but it was because I forgave them. That's the point. Anyway, I'm going to end on that, but I forgave them. I have to go. Most of these, because I forgave them, tried to make peace. I wouldn't have survived a lot of those if I had fought back. There were times that I knew I could probably win, even against the 4 people or so. I thought I'm pretty sure I could win, or at least take 2 of them down. And but I wouldn't fight back, because what happens when I start winning? They pull out a knife, a gun, a bat. I wasn't in a situation where I could trust them to be fair. Of course, they're already being unfair by having 4 or 5 people, right? So anyhow, and wasn't there to prove that. I'm just trying to survive for the next day and realize, okay, I was hanging out in a bad place. I won't come here next time. But and so I didn't. I move on. I look for friends elsewhere, right? And then if that turned out bad, I look for friends elsewhere. If that turned out bad, I look for friends elsewhere. But I have to go, and I don't believe in wasting all my money and time. All my time by not using whatever education I have had, whatever little bit of talent I have to communicate with, and whether it's the best talent or not. A lot of low IQ people in society have to survive, and poor people are welcome in the United States just as well as rich. It's just the point in being high IQ and qualifying high IQ people is to be able to keep up with a lot of tricks out there. But a lot of people use their IQs to spread tricks and lies, right? So by the way, though, so the Democrat Party lies. That's all they do. And when they're blocking people from me, they're not playing a fair game. You think they don't cheat in elections? this is the point I wanted to make. Once they're cheating in elections when they block people like me on Facebook from having views. And it's not that people have to like my page. I'm kind of glad they block it. I've gotten used to it because I don't have interruptions, and I'm able to keep brainstorming and seeing another lie and seeing what somebody missed in an analysis. I see what they missed and I bring it up. And a lot of times I find a really big point that they've missed, and I'm good at that. I'm good at seeing that and finding it. And but I'm not good at teaching it because I don't remember it once I found it. So that's what but I am good at finding those things. I know what I'm good at and not good at, but I do still think I can improve delivery and everything else. And so I hope I can get better at it. I hadn't had time to practice it much when I've made videos. I've done them all in a few weeks' time, and then I didn't have time for months at a time after that. I've never had time to plan my videos before I make them because I'm always busy. So I would like to be more articulate and clear, but there's no time. So I just got to make it when I can make it, just like this one. Rough draft, improvise. You have to see my rough draft most of the time, but that's the way it is. But they're cheating when they're going in. They're going and putting everybody, all the Republican voters, or people that just want to go out and try to help their country and help their fellow citizens by telling them, look, you're being lied to. The Republican Party is the one that freed the slaves. They're blocking all that knowledge. And then they'll act like they switched. It's not true. Why would the parties switch? They didn't switch. There's people that switch parties. That's happened. There's some that found out, like there's people that live in the South back then. It's all mixed up now. A lot of people move north and south. It's mixed up. But back in the day, there's a lot of people that lived in the South because they didn't want to live up in the cold weather. And they were poor. They didn't support it was the rich governments from Europe that came here to try to stop us from being free. So you had settlers that didn't bring slaves to anything like that. They didn't want it. Anyway, so people need to know those things that they've been lied about. America's been lied about. I've just heard from Thomas Sowell that there was more white people taken to Africa, North Africa, as slaves by far than there ever were black people brought to America as slaves. But we're not allowed to talk about the truth because they want everybody to stay mad. They want to act like America's responsible for slavery when it was just the Democrats really that were responsible for slavery. It's half of America that became Republicans came here to get away from slavery, and then the governments tried to stop them from being free. Well, they won the Civil War, and the Democrats changed their name from Confederate to Democrat, and they were supposed to conform, but they've been lying ever since and trying to get rid of it, get rid of free market capitalism, because that's the biggest thing that protects us from having slavery again. All right, I'll go. Bye.